I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our MLB On Deck segment for Tuesday, July 2nd. If you're new to the channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below so you can watch all of our MLB, NBA, and NFL videos. If you haven't checked out the website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily FanDuel, and DraftKings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing out there, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. Another day, ready to grind it out. I want to start off by saying, rest in peace to our boy out there, the Angels pitcher. What was his name?
Tyler Skaggs.
Tyler Skaggs. Rest in peace, man. It's a very, very tragic situation. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family and to the Angels organization. Yeah, man. So, I'm ready to kind of just jump in and talk some baseball if you're ready to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Real quick before we do, as always, this video is more of an overview, kind of get you a general idea of some teams and some pitchers that are popping out at us early in the day. If you want a more in-depth analysis, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. We've got 4 or 5 other different MLB content pieces up daily. Plus, we have NHL on the weekends, MMA, PGA, NASCAR. Make sure to check it out. Get yourself your 14-day free trial. Yes, we're giving you 2 weeks to make sure that our product is right for you, absolutely free. So check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, man, I'm ready to go. So I'll start with bats, and then we can kind of round about pitchers, kind of how we usually do it. So yeah, let's jump into it. Real quick before we do though, if you guys don't mind, please take that quick second, click the like button down below. Helps me out. I really appreciate that from you guys. And yeah, so we're just going to kind of go to the main event. We got Coors Field on the slate. We got a couple really good hitting teams. I'm going to start with the Colorado side of things. They get a matchup against this guy, Jose Urquidy or something. I'm not sure how to say that. He's a young pitcher making his debut in Coors Field. Man, it's not a good spot for him. I think that this is going to be a really, really high scoring game. I think that you can look at basically all the Rockies. It's getting hot in Coors Field. We got the wind projected to be blowing out at 7 miles an hour. I like the Rockies. I think they're easily the top team to target on this slate. On the flip side of things, you get the Houston Astros. They're starting to get healthy again. They got George Springer back. They got Altuve back. They got some guys that are really playing well. Bregman's continuing to play at his all-star level again this year. They got some pop in this lineup. Josh Reddick, if he's in the lineup, you can look at him. So they get a matchup against German Marquez. German Marquez is actually a pretty good pitcher. He does give up a 36% hard contact rate, 178 ISO against lefties, 115 ISO against righties. I don't necessarily like to target him so much, but really, really potent Houston lineup. Like I said, that's getting healthy. Definitely think that basically, whoever's in the lineup on both sides of this game are in play. This is the game that you want to look at tonight. Do you agree with me on the Coors Field game tonight?
Oh yeah, it's Coors Field, man.
Right. Well, even earlier in the year, though, when it was Coors Field, there was still some times that we both were like, I don't know if tonight's tonight, but I think tonight's going to be a really, really good night in Coors Field, and you're going to want to kind of get some type of exposure to them. Outside of Coors Field, moving on, another team that's standing out to me that I'm looking at, I like the Tampa Bay Rays. They get a matchup against a young guy in Asher Wojciechowski. I'm not sure how to say. I butcher everybody's name. But Tampa Bay at home, they have a 192 team ISO going against this young guy. Do you have any more information on this guy? Is he like an opener? Is he just a rookie that's going to come in and make his debut?
Complete breakdown on him and the Houston rookie on the deep dive today.
Okay,
I'll get into who they are.
So tune in for that. Definitely, I still think whenever it's a young guy coming up, pitching in the majors, you gotta want to target him bat wise. I like Tampa.
I could not disagree with you more on that. I think that is the easiest way to acquire some sort of field leverage every single day in tournaments by making sure that you target rookie pitchers, especially with AAA using the Major League Baseball this year and all of the offense statistics that are being put up in AAA this year, when you look at a pitcher who's now battle tested in AAA, it's not like this guy's got to go get used to a whole bunch of different things.
Right.
I mean, look at Brendan McKay. This guy was a number 4 pick in the draft, and probably their top pitching prospect. He's the real deal. Nobody knew who the hell he was. Very low owned, under 18% on a pretty full afternoon slate on Saturday. And the guy goes out and throws 6 one-hit innings. So even last night, I mean, last night, Tampa Bay was a pretty chalk spot. Yeah, Tampa Bay ended up scoring some runs because Kiermaier hit a 3-run bomb, but that rookie had held them down to 2 runs through 5 innings. So it's not, to me, I think it's buyer beware. Like, it's not a streamlined play where you
like go either way kind of thing.
Coors Field's a streamlined play, right? Like, it's Coors Field. If it's hot there and the wind's not blowing in and it's not 50 degrees outside, streamline Coors Field. But stacking against rookie pitchers is not a streamlined move. Like, do your due diligence, find out who the guy is, and then make a decision based off what he's done in the minors. If this is one of their top pitching prospects, if it's a guy we'll get into all that, but I'm just saying, straight off the bat on our On Deck video where we're taking a broad look at the whole slate, I wouldn't just go out and say, let's just stack up against a rookie pitcher today. The kid in Coors Field, I mean, look, he's at a 3.40 ERA and a .98 WHIP in AAA. So he hasn't been like just some rookie that's been getting blown up. But I do agree with you that it's a tough environment to just walk into and make your debut at Coors Field. That's a rough seat for anybody.
I'm definitely interested to hear a little bit more about both of these pitchers, so I can't wait to hear that deep dive for sure. So just to kind of where I'm at, I like Coors Field, both sides. I think Tampa Bay definitely is in play. You could consider them. A couple other teams that's really standing out to me, my Dodgers, man. I like the Dodgers today. I think that they're in a really good spot. They get a matchup against Taylor Clark, who gives up a 39% hard contact rate, 325 ISO to lefties, 261 ISO to righties. I mean, I think this is a day where the Dodgers can put up a bunch of runs. I mean, they're top 3 offenses, the top 3 offenses in the league. I mean, you're looking at all the regular guys: Peterson, Verdugo, Turner, Bellinger, Muncy. Beatty's having a pretty good season. Taylor's starting to pick it up a little bit. I really like these Dodgers a lot today. I think that they're a team that probably will get a little bit overlooked just because Coors Field is on the slate. They're in a really, really good spot. They have a 203 team ISO. Yeah, man, I like the Dodgers. And lastly, I'm going to go right back to the well. I like the Texas Rangers today. They get a matchup against Jose Suarez in Texas. It's hot. We got the wind projected to be blowing about 10 miles an hour to right field. So I like some of these Texas lefties. He gives up a 267 ISO to lefties, 280 ISO to righties. So you can definitely look at both sides of the plate for Texas. You got Chu, you got Mazzara, you got Gallo back in the lineup. Azuba Cabrera's in play, Odor, and then on the flip side, if DeShield is going to be in that 2-hole pretty cheap, I think you can look at him as a good value play. Andrus is definitely in play as well. So I like the Rangers also, and I'm not going to go into detail with them, but another team that I kind of like today was in Washington Nationals. I think that they were in a solid spot today, going against Zach Gallen. So just to kind of round it out for you, I like both sides of the Coors Field game, Tampa Bay. But I got a question mark now because I want to hear what you got to say about that pitcher. Dodgers are one of my favorite teams on the slate. I really like Texas, and then I think Washington is definitely in play also. So is there any other bat-wise? Is there any other teams that are standing out for you? And then kind of where you at pitching-wise?
So a couple of quick notes, right? So Zach Gallen is a guy that I've covered twice, I think, when he made his debut and then in his last outing on the deep dive. This kid is an electric talent, okay? Zach Gallen's an unbelievable talent. The kid has electric stuff. I've taken a deep dive into him. I've broken him down 6 ways from Sunday. He's had 2 starts. I believe his debut was against the Cardinals. Let me just look really quick because I want to make sure that I'm not giving misinformation. But he was did he get scratched? Because I don't see him.
Gallen?
Yeah.
As of right now, I have him pitching against the Nationals.
So this is another kid that I'm going to tell you right now that I wouldn't just say I'm going to just stack against him. And I'll cover him again today on the deep dive as well. But this kid's the real deal. Zach Galen is the real deal. I'll cover your Urquidy as well on the deep dive. One other thing about Urquidy that I just want to briefly say. First of all, this kid pitched in the Pacific Coast League, okay? And if you don't know about the Pacific Coast League, this is very small ballparks, and it's known for offense. And I mean a ton of offense and very small parks. So he's coming from the Pacific Coast League. His last start, he pitched seven scoreless innings and struck out 9. That was in the Pacific Coast League. So the kid has talent, okay? The one thing that I think that if people do drive-by research on him today, and I really wish that he was not debuting at Coors Field, but my point in saying that he's coming from the Pacific Coast League is that he's used to pitching in hitter-friendly environments. The guy's not used to pitching in big ballparks. He's used to pitching in places that yield a ton of runs. The Pacific Coast League known for offense production, okay? So if he was pitching anywhere but Coors Field, I would have a pretty good amount of exposure to him because the drive-by research is going to show that he's the Astros' 28th prospect in their farm system. He's their 28th best prospect. So he's outperformed in AAA his tag of their 28th best prospect by coming in right now. I think he's dropped his ERA to 2.5 with a 0.78 whip. So I'll get in depth on him. I just look the side that I'd be more comfortable stacking in Colorado for sure is the Houston side against German Herman Marquez. I'm just more comfortable with that. And Marquez hasn't been Senzatella bad, but Marquez has been. I think he's 8-2. Marquez has been decent this season. He's been decent. Some pitchers I like today because you have Coors Field in the slate are some pay down guys. I mean, when you look at the top of this thing, Aaron Nola is actually in a pretty good spot and a pretty good price at 9.2 on FanDuel. I've covered Aaron Nola in depth a lot, and I've covered this whole Philadelphia Phillies pitching staff in depth a lot. You want to really go against and target hitters against Philadelphia when it's a predominantly left-handed lineup. This entire staff seems to get lit up by left-handed pitching. If you look at their ISO splits, all of them are giving very high ISOs up to left-handed batters and very low ISOs up to right-handed batters. Depending on the lineup Atlanta rolls out today, Nola could only see 2, maybe 3 left-handed bats. I would say he's probably going to actually get 3 for sure with Albies, Freddie Freeman, and then Nick Markakis. So, that's not a lineup chocked full of left-handed bats. So Nola's actually in a decent spot, and at 9.2, it's a pretty good price. Another guy that I think is a little bit overpriced on the slate is Jake Odorizzi. I mean, that's a very steep price tag to go all the way up to Jake Odorizzi in the 10,000s on FanDuel. You've got Charlie Morton against Baltimore. I think a ton of people will look at Baltimore, look at Charlie Morton, they'll roll this out. I said this on the deep dive yesterday. Baltimore and the Giants are hot right now. They're the two of the worst teams in all of baseball, and you just take a look at the last 5 days, and these teams have put up over 30 runs each. They're hitting the absolute crap out of the baseball. The Giants, I mentioned them on the deep dive yesterday and said on yesterday's slate, I would absolutely stack the Giants up to get field leverage because how owned Logan Allen would be, and that was way before the Angels game and Rangers game was canceled. Once that game became canceled, I felt you had to own the Giants in order to get leverage on the field. So I would not overlook them again today. The Giants, that's one team I think that you can take a look at that you didn't mention. They're going to go against who they got today, the lefty for San Diego. Yeah, Matt Strom. Matt Strom's been okay this year, but Matt Strom's not a guy that, his price is all the way down to 7,600. Very people look forward to him and his debut. This is just another young pitcher San Diego has to feature. They've got a lot of young arms. Look, last night, if it would have been a full slate, there's not a chance in hell I would have recommended the Giants because it was a short slate and it was the only way to get field leverage. I thought you had to own the Giants. But the reason for that was they have a 114 ISO against left-handed pitching as a team. They have a 166 ISO against right-handed pitching as a team. But this team's very hot. They wrecked Robbie Ray, and they just wrecked Logan Allen. Matt Strom is not Robbie Ray, and he's not Logan Allen. So another thing that people don't realize is that Petco Park has always been a pitcher-friendly environment, correct?
Yes.
How many people realize they've moved the fences in each of the last 2 years?
Oh, really? I didn't even realize that, to be honest with you.
I mean, Petco Park's not playing like the smallest park in baseball. It's not. So it's going to be warm in San Diego. It'll be in the 70s when this game goes off. There's a lot of offense that could be had. Tyler Beede, I think, is a really good tournament play today for the Giants. If you look at his numbers, I don't have them in front of me. Can you pull up what his ISO is against lefties?
Who is that?
Tyler Beede.
I'll look that up for you. I'll find that for who? Tyler Beede for who? I'm sorry.
The Giants.
The Giants. Okay, if you want to keep going, and I'll find that for you right now.
So Tyler Beede is 6,400. Tyler Beede he's kind of had a sandwich season where he's had a couple of really bad starts, and in between a couple of really bad starts, he's had some really good starts and some really bright spots. Beede started off with an ISO against lefties over 480. I believe that ISO, you'll look it up, I believe that ISO is down in the 300s now, like low 300s. It's coming down because he's pitched a hell of a lot better. He has a really good ISO against him against righties. This is a predominant right-handed lineup. You've got to face really Hosmer.
Gotcha. So ISO against lefties are 281 and 125 against righties.
So in his last 4 starts, he's dropped his ISO from over 400 to 280 against lefties. He's pitched a lot better. With Coors Field on the slate, a $6,400 pitcher that has every opportunity to go 6 innings and get you a win and a quality start is Tyler Beede. So Tyler Beede is a guy that I would definitely not rule out. I would definitely not look past. It allows you to stack up Coors Field as a 4x4 stack. You could probably get some pretty nice bats for both Houston and Colorado. Hitter-friendly environment tonight. Beattie's a guy that I would look at as a SP2 on DK, and I would definitely look at getting him in tournament lineups where you're featuring Coors Field. I just think that at 6.4, this guy's got – Samardzija just went out and wrecked this lineup. I broke Samardzija down fully yesterday and said he has more wins against the Padres than he does against any other team, and he had more wins at Petco Park than any other park that he's pitched in on the road. So he went out last night. I believe he pitched 8 innings of 2-run baseball. He had 6 shutout innings. I like Tyler Beede a ton, especially with Coors Field in the slate. I will say one other thing. Be careful. Watch the weather. There's a ton of spots that it's really hot and it's really humid today. Miami, look to make sure they close the roof. You got Colorado where there's a potential to get some thunderstorms there. You got Washington. You've got New York. There's potential for rain everywhere today because it's hot. So there could be – you want to kind of make sure you're paying attention to the weather the closer lock gets. And remember, if it's a situation where there's going to be a delayed start, your starting pitching is safe. If it's a situation where it looks like it's going to be an in-game delay, your starting pitching is not necessarily safe. The worst thing that could happen to you is to spend way up on a pitching option, and then that guy go 3 innings, they go to a rain delay, and he doesn't come back.
For sure. That just happened to somebody. That happened to Giolito the other day for the White Sox. He was having a really, really good game.
There you go. There you go. Another perfect example. How many people knew who the hell Logan Thorpe was?
Not me. So
the White Sox were a pretty owned stack on Saturday against Logan Thorpe, or on Sunday against Logan Thorpe. He pitched 3 2/3 innings before the rain came. He had 5 strikeouts and 3 2/3 innings pitched, no hit, no runs against him. So another guy that people, you have to do your diligence, and you can't just, especially with AAA using the Major League Baseball this year. I can't emphasize it enough. Just to streamline against rookie pitchers, it's not a smart move, and it's a good way to get field leverage. But do your due diligence. If the numbers say this guy's look, the perfect comparison is, I can't think of the guy's first name, but I think his last name is Soto for Detroit. He bypassed AAA because they just don't have any more arms, and he came from AA. That's a guy right there where if he struggles at AA and they've called him up to AAA, or they've called him up to Major League Baseball to make a start, oh yeah, stack against that guy all day long. But if you're getting a guy that's a big name in their farm system who's put in work, has good numbers at AAA this year. Don't just streamline and stack against that guy. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I get you. For sure. So, hey man, that's kind of where we're at, and I think this is actually a pretty good video, very informative. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's slate, like I said earlier, make sure to check out the site dfscheatsheet.com. Get yourself your free 14-day trial. Make sure that our product is right for you. And hey, outside that, good luck on your guys' contest tonight, and peace out.